It was about 6 years ago where I started reaching out to people, just cold messaging people on LinkedIn, because I was looking for a trading coach or a trading mentor to help introduce me to the markets. And I messaged a lot of people, and two individuals responded, two gentlemen responded. The first one said, "No, I can't mentor you," but he said, "Read a book called Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas." And I was like, okay. And the other gentleman said yes, and he ended up mentoring me for a few years, and I learned a lot of my stuff from this gentleman called Mike, but that's a story for another day. I ended up going off and reading Trading in the Zone and studying the principles that Mark Douglas promotes, and I got an extreme amount of value from them in my life. But there was one particular issue or one particular challenge that I found or I saw with Mark Douglas's work. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Bailouni. Welcome to the channel. I am the founder of Master Your Trading Mindset, which is an education and performance coaching business. And we help traders eliminate the mental patterns that hold them back from consistency and funding. Now, we have our free Bulletproof Your Mindset tool. Only 25 copies of that goes out per week because I personally reach out to every single one of the people who get that tool. So if you're interested in upgrading your mindset, gaining consistency, gaining funding, go into the description and download that tool right now. So when we talk about Mark Douglas's work in Trading in the Zone, and even Jared Tendler's stuff on the mental game of poker or the mental game of trading, these are all books that I studied and really divulged in my journey. It was about 2 years into my trading journey where I recognized the importance of psychology after losing a significant amount of funding. And I went off and studied a lot of these books, and I even did more advanced studies under mentors like Dr. John Demartini. And I wanted to go in there and find the principles, and deeper than that, find the applications and tools that actually help you change your brain and to start thinking like a professional trader. Now, the one challenge or the one issue I found with Mark Douglas's and even Jared Tendler's work is they teach the theory really well, and they give you a great understanding of what's happening in your brain and what holds successful traders back. But they don't necessarily give the specific application to go into your brain and to change your brain via neuroplasticity. And everybody's brain is extremely neuroplastic, and we can rewire our brain through Hebb's law, neurons that fire together, wire together. And if you know the tools and the principles, you can actually transform your brain from an amateur trader's inconsistent brain to a successful professional trader consistent brain. And that's very possible to do via neuroplasticity. The challenge I found with Mark Douglas's and Jared Tendler's work is they taught you what the difference is, but they didn't necessarily teach you how to go off and create the brain change that allows you to transition from an inconsistent to a consistent trader. And this is where my advanced studies with Dr. John Demartini and his background in neuroscience and neuroplasticity really helped. I implemented a lot of John's work through the Demartini method, and I took a lot of the principles that I learned from Mark Douglas, Jared Tendler, my own 6 years in the trading journey, working with hundreds of clients, and I amalgamated it all together. And that's ultimately how the 12-week challenge came around. And any one of my students or clients who've been through the 12-week challenge or have been through performance coaching with me know that the things I teach, yes, I teach you the theory and the understanding, but I teach you the practical tools to actually go off and achieve brain change. And I really think that's what's so powerful about the 12-week challenge, is that it gives you the tools to identify very specific moments in your life and make change in your brain by associating new pathways in your brain. So you literally go from an amateur trader to a professional trader. So the big challenge I found with these books, even though they're great and I got a lot of value from them, I know a lot of traders do, and I still encourage them as well. I think those are mandatory readings for traders, but you have to understand that intellectualizing the work and just knowing the theory isn't actually going to change your brain. It's now about working with the principles and the tools and the application that allow you to inculcate the principles
by doing very specific work that actually transition you from an amateur to a master trader. And this is why I think there are so little great traders, consistent traders out there, is because it takes the brain change, it takes the work to go off and do that. And I teach the principles in the 12-week challenge. Every one of my students, every one of my clients have seen that, and they have the tools, they have the principles, and they're working at it every day to create the brain change to become consistent professional traders. So if that's of interest to you, if you've read, Mark Douglas's work, and you know that resonated with you, but there was a piece missing, you're missing the application, I encourage you to check out, first and foremost, the Bulletproof Your Mindset tool, because that will help introduce you to the principles, but then the 12-week challenge, which is going to absolutely blow your mind in terms of what I pass on in there. So hopefully this is insightful. Hopefully for those of you who haven't read those books, it gives you an understanding that, yes, the theory is good, but what's even more important than the theory is the actual work that helps you go off and change your brain to start thinking like a consistent trader. It's the difference between intellectualizing and inculcation.